This is Southern Cross News with Rachel Williams.
Good evening. The Australian Transport Safety Bureau has revealed new details about a fatal helicopter crash at Hobart Airport last month. CCTV footage and flight recordings are being analysed to determine the cause of the crash, which occurred during a training simulation. Our reporter Jacqueline Robson has the details.
The ATSB has today released a preliminary report into November 7's crash. A helicopter plunged into the ground at the Hobart Airport, killing well-known pilot Roger Corbin and seriously injuring 33-year-old John Osborne. Early investigations reveal the chopper was performing a simulated hydraulic system failure before the fatal nosedive into the ground. Rotolift founder Roger Corbin was training John Osborne in emergency practices. Details show Mr Corbin announced a simulated failure to the pilot just prior to commencing the approach to the runway.
The aircraft slowed into a high hover before commencing an abrupt nose-down attitude and impacting the terrain.
Investigators have released these images showing the impact to the chopper with extensive damage to the cockpit. The ASTB will now review the training operations, helicopter systems and any environmental influences at the time of the crash.
Our job now is to continue to work through the analysis phase of the investigation to find out exactly what happened with a view to reducing the risk of it happening again.
Mr Corbin was recently farewelled and celebrated for saving lives through his Rotolift company. A final report is due to be released in November next year, 12 months on from the tragedy.
A Devonport teenager has died in hospital 6 days after she was pulled unconscious from the water following a swimming incident at Mersey Bluff. 14-year-old Georgia Lutas was rescued by passers-by after being caught in treacherous waters while swimming with a friend after school. Her friend managed to make it to shore safely and was treated for shock and minor abrasions. Georgia was transferred to the Royal Hobart Hospital in a critical condition and died yesterday. Her family have today thanked the efforts of Tasmania Police, Surf Life Saving Australia and Ambulance Tasmania. Investigators are still trying to determine the cause of a fatal crash at Mornington yesterday. Police say it appears a Kia Rio attempted to cross 2 lanes of the South Arm Highway but collided with a ute. A 49-year-old man in the Kia died at the scene, while his 2 daughters and another female passenger received non-life-threatening injuries.
At this stage, it doesn't appear that alcohol or drugs was a factor. However, to determine the cause of the crash, there'll be a whole range of things which we will look at. So it's a bit early for me to tell you what the outcome might be at this stage.
The driver of the ute received minor injuries and has been released from hospital. Any witnesses are asked to contact Crime Stoppers. Pressure is mounting on the state government to recall Parliament in order to address alleged dysfunction within the Tasmanian health system. An investigation revealed ineffective leadership was plaguing the system, with a promise from government to fix the issue if re-elected. But opposition parties say avoiding a return to Parliament is avoiding scrutiny.
Inspecting the foundations of a new hospital amid a Tasmanian health service on shaky ground. The Health Minister today initiating a new way forward for a system plagued by dysfunction.
I'm writing to relevant organisations today to invite them to be part of our early consultation on the next steps ahead.
A survey of medical staff found the THS executive was seen to be ineffective, impacting the broader organisation. Yesterday, the state government promised to scrap the executive and its CEO, but only if it's returned to government in March. A promise needing legislation to pass through Parliament with no more sitting days before the election.
That it's entirely possible that the Premier can recall Parliament in the first week or 2 of January. The Greens will fully support that.
Look at what happened when they sacked the Glenorchy Council. They received a report on one day, we had new legislation the next day. The health system surely is a priority for the government.
The only reason she wants to recall Parliament is to cause more mischief and do parliamentary stunts. She's not actually interested in progressing what the government's plan is.
Mischief, the opposition claims, is stemming from the Health Minister himself. Confusion surrounding the Deloitte survey after it was initially proposed to aggregate a report which would be shared with senior leaders. The report's existence denied by the Minister last month.
There is no such report by Deloitte. into the THS executive sitting on my desk. There is no such report in my office. What it is, it's a staff survey. The staff survey is what Deloitte has done. It's been helpful for us to understand issues that need to be dealt with.
The Minister chooses to call it something other than a report, I think, just to confuse matters and to use tricky language to avoid scrutiny.
The Minister for Health appears to be playing word games on such a serious issue. The situation in the hospitals is acknowledged to be toxic and dysfunctional.
Issues now likely to be dealt with after the March election. Jacqueline Robson, Southern Cross News.
A year-long investigation into Tasmania's $50 million fox eradication program has found no proof of misconduct or false evidence. The controversial task force was dismantled in 2014 after no concrete evidence of foxes living in the state was found. Allegations were then made last year claiming task force members had fabricated or knowingly misrepresented evidence of foxes between 2002 and 2011 to ensure the program was funded. But an Integrity Commission report released today found no proof of that. However, it did determine there were administrative and management issues within the task force. The Commission's board says similar programs need to be better managed in the future. Booming visitor numbers are causing growing pains for parts of Tasmania's tourism sector, including one of our most significant convict sites. Port Arthur is seeing continual growth, forcing an expansion of its visitor centre and a rethink of how tourists use the site.
The new visitor centre at Port Arthur is already getting a workout. The existing building getting a $12 million facelift and expansion to deal with booming visitation to the convict site. The Premier officially unveiling the centre today.
We need to accommodate our visitors and ensure that the experience they receive is world class as well, and that's exactly what this visitor centre will provide.
The centre has grown by 900 square metres. The interior has been redesigned with an upgraded ticketing area, shop, restaurant and cafe. Downstairs, the gallery has been completely overhauled.
We've created a space that you can use both pre and post visit. So the front end is kind of an orientation zone. It gives our visitors the opportunity to, to strategically plan their visit. It's a very big site.
These upgrades were needed to deal with booming visitor numbers. In the last year, 340,000 people passed through the site. That's 9% growth. A total of 29 cruise ship stops are booked for this season.
That it can seem like an invasion if you're not dealing with it properly. So if you just, and I would say that in some parts of the world that has been a problem. So our job as the guardians of Port Arthur is to ensure that we're ahead of the game.
The Management Authority is set to undertake a carrying capacity study, examining the impact of rising visitor numbers on this historic site.
It's how you distribute them over the site, it's how you move them about, it's the way you take them a few at a time, all of those things, and that will be part of the carrying capacity studies.
Michael Breen, Southern Cross News.
250 people have been seriously injured or killed on Tasmania's roads this year. Now, with the festive season upon us, Tasmania Police is urging all road users to slow down, follow the rules and think about the impact that you could cause others.
A holiday blitz to bring down our road toll. This is the scene most drivers will come across this festive season.
We'll be out there in force. We'll be everywhere across Tasmania. We'll be using whatever vehicles that are required, and the fines are significant, the demerit points are significant, and we make no apology for that.
Operation Crossroads officially begins on Friday and will run until New Year's Day. This year, police are cracking down on speeding, wearing seatbelts and drug and drink drivers. They'll be targeting rural roads, and the number of unmarked vehicles used will be increased. The aim is to ensure incidents like this don't end in tragedy.
It's a particularly traumatic event, obviously for the families, but also the police officers involved, and for our people. We want them to be able to go home to their families and enjoy their Christmas New Year period as well.
The police records show us that 25% of fatal crashes have been caused by inattention, and we believe, based on the evidence, that a phone use is a large part of that.
So far this year, 36 people have died on our roads, while 250 have been seriously injured. Tasmania Police's main wish this festive season is for drivers to
stop thinking about yourself, think about others, and do the right thing. So concentrate on the matter or the driving that you should be doing.
As they say, you've got precious cargo, not just with you, but the car coming towards you. So please stay safe.
Monica Dadson, Southern Cross News.
Launceston's Carols by Candlelight event has been a big hit for the 5th year running. A crowd of more than 6,000 attended the traditional evening, singing and dancing the night away, and also raising money for families in need this Christmas.
A joyous night just 6 days away from the big day. A sea of candles lighting up City Park. So this is Christmas. It was all smiles, song and dance as thousands immersed themselves in the Christmas spirit.
Definitely the best thing about Christmas is coming to Carols by Candlelight, for sure.
How fun has it been?
Super fun.
So much fun. I'm just seeing everyone have so much fun and put their candles up, and it's just the atmosphere is just great.
Songs could be heard across the city as the 3-hour event boasted dozens of sing-along carols. More than 100 local performers taking to the stage. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We believe the time must be the praises of the Lord. From black and And while most were happy to sing along, some were already thinking about what next week might bring.
Do you want to know what I asked for? Yeah. I asked for a giant reindeer from Kmart that you can actually move its head and its antlers and its legs.
All money raised from the carols will go towards supporting Tasmanian families and children in need this Christmas. Final figures are not yet known, but the amount raised is expected to be more than $15,000. Rita Risk, Southern Cross News.
Children at the Royal Hobart Hospital have been treated to an early Christmas present. Variety Tasmania today bringing in donations as part of its annual pre-Christmas run. A special visitor helping deliver books by a local author, hoping to brighten the day for sick children.
It's a series of books about dogs, why dogs circle to lie down, why they bury bones, why they sniff bums. So it's a fun exercise, really.
It's really important to be able to get some normal activities for them, and seeing dogs and seeing other people are great, and just to give them some fun for their day, which is really nice.
The hospital's paediatric ward treated almost 3,000 children over the past year. Tasmanians are being encouraged to nominate a Veteran Employee of the Year for the Prime Minister's Veterans Employment Awards. Nominations close at midnight on Friday. Businesses can also be nominated for the Employer of the Year category. The awards are a chance to recognise the skills that veterans bring to workplaces and the contributions they make. Now look at the day's business and finance with thanks to Tasplan, your local super fund. The Australian share market has closed in positive territory with further takeover activity and a strong day for miners and banks driving the market to fresh post-GFC highs. The ASX 200 index has risen by 41.9 points. A short time ago, the Australian dollar was trading at 76.58 US cents and 86.26 Japanese yen.
Canes keeper Georgia Redmayne says the side is nowhere near being out of the WBBL mix, despite dropping all 3 games this season. But the batting order will need to step up following yet another collapse yesterday.
Redmayne's quick hands were one of the few highlights for the Canes. This stumping made slightly sweeter by the fact it was against former teammate Aaron Burns.
It's nice to kind of get a bit of revenge back at her, so it's a right for leaving.
West Indian import Hayley Matthews, the other shining light, taking 2 for 29.
I think our fielding in particular yesterday was really good. Hayley's 2 run-outs in a row, I don't think I've ever seen that before.
But there was no sugarcoating the side's performance with the bat, with Redmayne the only player who managed more than 20 runs.
It's definitely something that we're trying to work on, and we've got some good players in our team, and just taking that responsibility, especially in run chases.
Yesterday's 33-run loss to the Sixers was the Canes' third straight, but the keeper says it's far too early in the season to start talking doom and gloom.
As you saw in the first season, I think the Sixers had lost 7 in a row at the start of the season and then made the finals, so I definitely wouldn't say that we're out of it at all.
They'll have a shot at redemption in Sydney this Saturday when they again take on the Sixers.
Launceston cyclist Zach Gilmore was lucky to escape serious injury over the weekend during one of the most spectacular crashes ever seen in the sport. The incident occurring at Melbourne's Hisense Arena during the final of the Austral Wheel Race, with Gilmore one of several riders caught up in the carnage. Later in the night, Devonport's Macy Stewart added another career accolade to the list, taking out the Women's National Madison Championship title with Queensland's Christina Clonan.
Good evening. Hobart 24 today, Launceston 26, Burnie and Devonport reached 22, Ouse and Fingal warm 28, Campania 27, Flinders Island, Strawn and Grove 26, King Island and Friendly Beaches 25 today, St Helens and Lyowini 24, Lowhead and Wynyard 22, fine and sunny over most of the state. We did have a large band of high cloud moving over southern states today ahead of a cold front. We also have that front crossing the Bight. A region of active middle cloud with thunderstorms is over the Bight, driven by a trough. A band of middle cloud extends through central Australia. Some low-level cloud is off our north coast with high cloud over the coast and just a spattering of low convective cloud over the Midlands this afternoon. Tomorrow the front approaches the state with freshening northerlies ahead of it. The front extends from south of the Bight over central Australia. A deep low moves over the Southern Ocean behind it as well. North to northwesterly winds at 15 to 25 knots over the north, reaching 30 knots over remaining coastal waters. So we do have a gale warning. That's on for waters between St Helens Point and South East Cape, and from Low Rocky Point to Stanley, a small craft wind alert for the lakes. And we also have a very high fire danger for the Midlands, Upper Derwent Valley, East Coast and the South East. Into Tuesday we go, and it's warming right up. Becoming windy for Hobart though, and 32 degrees, 26 for Adventure Bay with a shower for Tarraleah and 27. Launceston, late showers, 29 the high, 22 for Devonport with showers increasing, same for Bridport with 25 the high. Burnie, showers increasing, 21 the top, up to 30 for Strawn, showers on the way too, and 22 for Marrawar. For St Helens, a shower or two, getting the wind up later on, 25, 26 for Swansea and Whitemark on Flinders. UV extreme and as high as 12 over the north and east. On Wednesday, showers over the north, west and south, contracting to the west and south in the afternoon. Fine on Thursday, apart from a shower or two over the west and far south. A similar forecast for Friday, another shower over the west and south. And Christmas Day, fine and partly cloudy, but temperatures struggling to reach 20. But Boxing Day will be a lot warmer. Partly cloudy in Perth tomorrow. An early shower clearing from Adelaide, a shower and possible storm for Melbourne and Alice Springs. Plus 30 temperatures for Sydney and Brisbane, and a hot one with a storm in the offing for Canberra. Clear in Hobart, 19 at the moment, 24 in Launceston, Devonport currently 20 degrees. That's it for me, Rach.
Well, that's all your news for now. I'll be back later with updates. Thanks for joining us. Good night.